Our guest today is Kimberly Godfrey, and she is the Director of Theater and Music. Is that correct? At the Ashtabula Arts Center. And there's always a lot of stuff going on at the Arts Center. It's usually fun stuff, but I think summer is probably about the best because of the theatrical production Straw Hat Theater. And you're starting with Carrie, which this is a musical too, correct?
It is a musical. Yes.
So this has to be quite a bit different than the movies.
It is. It has a lot of similarities to the movies, but the musical actually focuses way more on the humanity of the characters rather than the horror aspect of the movie.
So is there still some horror to the movie?
There is. There is still some horror to it, but it's not as much. You actually wind up really digging deep into their characters and into their hearts in the musical.
I can't see people like being real scared when somebody breaks into song.
Well, you'll see. I think there are some parts that I think are pretty chilling in the musical, but yeah, the music is beautiful. It's beautiful, and also it is pretty scary too at some points. But.
Okay, and this is being broadcast on Sunday, so it'll be this coming Friday then.
Yes.
And
June 7th.
And it'll be 2 weekends on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But then the third weekend, it'll be the final weekend will be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Correct. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for that last one.
So what are the challenges of doing Carrie the musical?
The biggest challenge is the fact that she has telekinesis, so she can move things without touching them. So that has been a gigantic challenge for us as far as special effects go and the different things that we need to do in order to get that point across.
You couldn't find a telekinetic actress?
I could not. Nobody came out to show us their powers.
Well, I was talking to Ray Beach, who does all of the special effects and everything about this a while ago, and we were talking about the pig blood dropping on her and how to do that. But I was thinking not just that, but like you say, moving objects and stuff too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's quite a few details in the musical. Well, in the show in general, there's the telekinesis, there's the blood, there's the whole Jim is supposed to turn on. Go into flames at the end, so that is another thing. So it's a lot of it's very fun. It's very fun to figure out all the special effects and try to create that for the audiences.
I bet it is, but and also this is in the smaller outdoor venue than people that go during the rest of the year so it's kind of closer. People can see things up a little better. So I mean it's got to be convincing, I would think.
Oh yes, it's a very intimate setting, and which helps with the story as far as really feeling the emotions of the characters. But then I think that when the special effects come in and all of the cool details with Carrie's telekinesis and with the prom scene and all of that, I think it'll be really neat for our audiences to experience.
Does it help when a play was first a famous movie to get people out?
It does help, and also with this one I'm realizing that it might hinder us a little bit because some people seem like, oh, Carrie the musical, and then you have to explain that it's a lot deeper, and it really dives into the deep parts of the movie. And Stephen King said, who wrote the novel, one of his famous quotes is, monsters are real and ghosts are too, and they live inside us and sometimes they win. And that quote is something that I think rings true in a lot of his novels, and especially in Carrie, because each character has a moment where they can let the monsters inside of them win, but they have a choice. And you really see that throughout the musical about the battles that they have with going a good way or a bad way, or making in all of their choices. And it really focuses on that. The teenage aspect of it and the peer pressure and the pressure to fit in and to be quote unquote cool and all of that. And it really it pulls at your heartstrings, even as an adult, where you remember those feelings of growing up, and everybody feels that way in one one place or another, and so it's a really relatable show, even though there are some pretty creepy parts to it.
Hopefully most people don't have a crazy mother like she does.
Yeah.
So how is that?
She is very extreme. We did a lot of research on each of the characters, and so a lot of our actors have read the novel and they've seen the movies. And then we started our rehearsal process with sitting down and just reading the script and talking about each character and kind of how they tick and why they are the way that they are. And a lot with Margaret, with the mom, who is so creepy, and she has all these extreme views of how the world works, but she just knows what she was taught. And that's something that the musical doesn't necessarily touch on, but that we've brought into her character, of showing that she believes what she thinks is true, and all she wants to do is do what she thinks is right. And so it also makes you kind of feel for her, even though she's really creepy. Aubrey does a great job. And so, but yeah, it is pretty creepy.
So we've got Carrie the first 3 weekends beginning this Friday.
Yes.
And then after that, it's Shrek.
Junior.
Yes, I should know that.
Yes, we have the junior version of Shrek, directed by Lisa Lowry, with a lot of awesomely talented kids, including. Is that some of your grandchildren in there
yes,
too?
They are.
Yes. And
my younger grandson plays the father of my oldest grandson.
Yes,
so.
That's right. Yeah. And that one will be really fun too. It's a shortened version of the musical, but that's very similar to the movie as well. And it has some really fun music and some good dancing, and the kids are so talented, so it'll be fun.
I talked to Christy Seymour the last time we had somebody from the Arts Center on his program, and we kind of discussed the fact that if you haven't gone to a kid's production, or you've gone to some bad ones where the mother's there whispering the lines to the people on stage, this does not happen here. I mean, these kids are very professional, and most of them, you look at them, they look like they're about 3 years old, and they'll tell you they've been in 14 plays.
Right, it's so true. We have a lot of experienced kids. Ever since I started working here full time, I think it was 8 years ago. I've been trying to really build our program from the bottom up, and trying to keep what we have, but yet building it at the same time. And with these kids productions, it has helped so much to be able to give all of these kids a performance opportunity at the caliber that we are teaching them. And we have some kids who are really young that are having some awesome opportunities where they've started here, but yet now they're branching out and auditioning at a few other theaters, where they are really comfortable with auditioning and really comfortable with themselves as performers, which you don't see a lot in 8 and 9 year olds. And and we do have all across the board, where sometimes we have some 9-year-olds who will come in to audition and cry and have a hard time, but you sit there and cheer them on the whole time and try to help them feel that comfort. And then you have some who come in and are all ready to go and very confident and know what they're doing. It's pretty cool.
I noticed in The Lion King that you had a couple kids that were a little older. This was the first time they tried out, and they got big parts. So so if anybody's thinking about ever trying out for a play.
Oh yeah. Anyway, we have new people all the time. The girl, swinging back to Carrie, the girl who's playing Carrie, she was in the ensemble of Grease this past winter, but otherwise this is one of her first shows she's ever done. And so all across the board with our kids shows too, with Shrek, we have some newer kids in that too. But I mean, if anybody ever wants to audition, anybody is welcome, and it's always, you just go with who fits the part, and it could be somebody who just walked in off the street. So yeah.
So what's next after Shrek?
So then it's Freaky Friday the musical, which
I am
so excited about.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I grew up watching those movies. I can't remember the name of the actress or actresses from the movie from years ago that was before I was born. And then there was do you remember?
Yeah, I can't.
It wasn't Jodie Foster, was it?
No. It's long before Jodie Foster.
Yeah. It was a long time. I grew up watching that movie, and then later on there was a movie with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, and so there was that version of it. And I can't wait. I was so excited when this was turned into a musical, and it is something that is so family friendly and wonderful for kids to come and see, and families to just come together. It'll be a wonderful show. It'll be very good. And that one's directed by Chrissy Seymour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kimberly Godfrey from the Ashtabula Arts Center is our guest. We're talking mostly about summer at the Arts Center. And then the last play.
The last play is Lucky Stiff.
Yes, and that's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh, it really is. It's kind of like, it's not the exact storyline of Weekend at Bernie's, but it's very close to that, where they do wind up, a family member passes away, and then they have to take them around in order to get an inheritance, but they run across all sorts of different characters along the way, and there's a little love story in it. But that one is a hoot and a half. We did that one, I think the last time we did that one here was in 2003, and I will never forget that show. It's such a good one.
I remember that because my son played in that at Case Western Reserve, and I happened to mention it. That's a really funny play to Daryl Lowe, and about 6 months later they put the show on.
Okay,
so.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's what I did the show. I was a junior in high school when we did that show, and I got to be Annabelle, the dog lady for it. So I love that show. So that one's also a good one for the family, and it's really fun. It's hysterical.
It is very. That's why it's something I had never experienced before, and I just happened to see Daryl, who was the theatrical coordinator at the time, and he must have looked it up, because pretty soon I saw that they were presenting it. Yeah. You're talking about fun, and this is kind of address the whole atmosphere of the summer theater season, and the fact that you have the popcorn outside and the pop, and everybody kind of gets together a half hour beforehand, and everybody's talking. It's a social thing, and the play itself. I mean, I can remember back when they used to have it down at Walnut Beach, and it was a mess. but I mean, it's very pleasant, and so I mean, if you're thinking about some different things to do in the summer.
Yeah, if you're thinking about something fun to do with the family for the summer, Straw Hat is definitely a wonderful place to be. The atmosphere itself and being outside and watching a show is a completely different experience. And our theater is so different because it's a thrust stage, so the audience is on three sides of the stage instead of just being on the one right in front. So it's very close to being immersive theater, where you feel like you're right on top of the action the whole time. So it creates just a whole different feel to it. And I remember falling in love with the theater when I was 11 or 12 years old, and my parents brought my sister and I out here to see How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, and that was the show where I looked at the Straw Hat stage and I was like, I have to do this. I have to be on this stage, and it was so cool. So it's a great.
My son was in that.
Yeah.
He played Bud. Was it Bud? The swarmy nephew. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, if you've got relatives in the play and you end up going to see it more than once, you're going to want to be in different areas so you get a different perspective of the play.
Oh yeah, you totally get different perspectives in each place. It's very fun. It's different every time.
We got about a minute left. Could we talk about just a second about some of the camps and stuff that are also going on this summer?
Yes, we have our multi-arts camp that puts on a production. They go through dance classes, music, theater, and art classes during the day, and that's for grades 1 through 6. And their musical that they're doing this year is It's a Jungle Out There, and so that one runs for 3 weeks in July. And then we also have some really good art camps. There's a Harry Potter camp, which always sounds like so much fun to me. I believe we're doing a fairy camp, and yes, we are doing a fairy camp as well. So there's lots of fun things.
So people just go to ashtabulaartscenter.com and look at all.
ashtabulaartscenter.org.
.org.
Yes.
Okay. All right. ashtabulaartscenter.org.
Yes.
Right. All right, Kimberly Godfrey, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.